Okay, so today I will be reviewing two versions of the same IM, which is the Letshuoer S12, and I'm going to also be reviewing the modded version of the Letshuoer S12. This mod was made by Michael Bruce, another IM reviewer, and he calls it the S12 Prometheus. Sorry about that. Um, So, for the sake of just not having any confusion, I will be referring to the stock sound as just the S12 and the modded S12 as the S12 Prometheus or just the Prometheus. So, disclaimers, I was not paid or influenced to say anything good or bad about these IMs. All thoughts and opinions are my own. The stock S12 was sent in for review by sonofholhorse on Discord, who also lent me the Resin EJ07M. I'd like to thank him for doing this. He didn't have to do it. And for the modded S12, I bought a retail unit from Letshuoer on their anniversary sale, I believe, which was about $50 off. So it was about 120, and then I sent it in directly. Well, no, I bought it and then I had it shipped directly to Michael Bruce, and then he did the mod and did his tests and everything, and that took a week after it arrived at his place, and then it took another week ish for it to ship back to me. And for the mod and shipping to me, I had to pay $35. So if you buy it on sale and then get the mod from Michael Bruce, it will cost about the same as retail. So I will review it as they're on par for the price. But if you just compare them stock MSRP, the mod will cost you a bit more, which is to expected because Michael Bruce does do quite a bit of tuning. It's not just like the Z12, for example, where it's like a 3 dB bass boost. He actually goes in depth about how he tunes it. He does physical modifications, pops open the back shell, and I don't want to get into it because um I don't want to reveal his secrets, but yeah, just know he does a lot of physical tuning, and I respect him for that. And yeah, that's a lot of disclaimer, but yeah, basically that's it. So I will be reviewing the S12 and then I'll give comparisons to the mod after. Okay. So the drivability for both of these is on is pretty average. I drove it just fine off the Qdelix 5K single-ended and the BTR5 2021 single-ended. So you could drive it off any device unless it's like super weak, but even like a phone would be fine. But if you like better sound, just have like a clean source. At least like an Apple dongle will do. Um, so going on to accessories. So the S12 has um this cable. Um, yeah, this cable. It's a thick 2-core cable. Well, and it's pretty nice feeling, but it's heavy and a bit stiff. It holds a bit of memory, but it's nice feeling. One thing that I will get into later with this cable that I don't like, is in the fit section, but yeah. And then there's this Letshuoer case. It's pretty small, but it gets the job done. And inside it has a mesh pocket. I put the bags with the tips and a silica gel packet in here, because why not? And then I'll move this back here. So that was it for accessories. I mean, there's also foam tips. They give 3 pairs of foam tips, but I'm not a big foam tip guy, so I didn't really test it. Sorry about that, because foam tips affect the sound in a negative way from what I've experienced. So going on to build, the build of this IM is very, very good. It's a small metal shell. You could here. Wait, hold on. so you could hear its metal shell, which is nice. Um, it's pretty small, so it will fit in most people's ears unless your ear is like really tiny and you just can't fit anything. Which, I mean, why are you considering an IEM at that point? Like, but for regular people, yeah, this will fit in their ear no problem. The build is exceptional. Well, I skipped to fit. Well, let's just move on to fit while I'm at it. So for fit, I had two main problems with this. Moving back onto the stock, the stock S12 cable. One problem I have is you see this ear hook. It's a pretty aggressive ear hook, right? Which is fine, but it's also you see this length, this aggressive length, well, this aggressive curve and the length of it makes it so this is very hard to rest on like my ear as it goes uh over it and around. So that's why I switched to an aftermarket cable. Uh in my experience, I'm not a cable believer, so I didn't do this for sound purposes. It was just so hold on, let me show you. It was just so I could get a better ear hook and better fit. Also, I tip rolled a lot because, as you can see, this IM has a very short nozzle, similar to the Olina that I have in house for review. But um, I haven't actually tried the Olina tips on this. I might try it later. But this might prove a problem for some people, especially if you've had problems with short nozzles before, just like the Tench Gym Oxygen and Hana, for example, or the Olina, as I mentioned before. But if you don't, that's great. Have any tips that help you? Uh, that's also wonderful. It's just, something to let you know. So those were my two gripes with fit. Other than that, it's good. As I said, it's a small size, so it should fit most people's ears. Moving on to, so I did disclaimers, ex- drivability, accessories, build, fit. Now moving on to sound. So the sound of the stock S12 is well, as with most planers, it's a V-shaped sound. So the bass is very elevated. Uh it does it does from graphs, as you can see, it does start going up at like the mid bass and towards the sub bass a lot. But what I find with this IM at least is that the bass has like a softness to it. So it's kind of, some people call it pillowy. I would call it like kind of pillowy, like it has a softness to it, but the extension towards the sub bass is really good. And any kind of like song that's or music that tokens sub bass, like Hans Zimmer, for example, will do very well on this. But the mid bass impact could be better. Um, and then that transition into the lower mids, as you can see from graphs, it's a bit scooped out, so male vocals aren't as prominent as some people might prefer, and they they kind of take a backseat to female vocals because there's a weird there's a elevation in the upper mid range that makes it sound a bit like unnatural, and it tokens female vocals and higher frequencies in the mids. So if you're not a fan of that, then this I might not be for you. But it did, I did like how it's pianos and stuff sounded with it. But I like that with a lot of stuff. So I mean, as long as like the upper mids aren't recessed, I'm pretty sure I'll be fine with that. But moving on to the treble. The treble is where it's a bit iffy for me because I found that around like 5-ish, 6K-ish, there's a bit of fatiguing. There's like a bit of fatigue in the treble for me. Um, Actually, someone on Discord, Growlix, he was talking about how he had fatigue in that area, and since I was experiencing fatigue as well, I used a sign generator or sign sweep thingy, and that kind of confirmed it to me because it was really fatiguing there. So, for people who are easily fatigued by lower treble, I think this is a set that you might want to stay away from, unless you don't mind EQing. It does have nice extension to the upper treble though, so it adds a lot of air and brightness. Well, it is brightness, but like it's not peaky or like shrill. I didn't find too much sibilance. Um, and it did add an airiness to sound. It made everything more exciting. But as I said, it's also a V-shaped sound. So if you're not into V-shapes, this item will not be for you for sure. Um, well, compared to the S12 Prometheus, the Prometheus is a more balanced sound. The bass is more linear, so it's not as elevated of a bass shelf. But since the sub bass is more linear, or well, the bass in general is more linear, you get a more even quantity of mid bass and sub bass. Um, and the way the bass shelf is, it doesn't really scoop out the lower mids more, so or anymore. So it's much more balanced in that regard, along with the because the way Michael Bruce tuned it, he made it so it's less there's less pinna gain, right? Which is good because the S12 stock had a lot of like unnaturalness and elevation in the upper mid range, and his tuning lowered it so it's more natural. It's more. Would I say it's neutral? It's definitely more neutral than stock, but yeah, I guess I would say it's neutral. Um, the mids sound more natural now as well. It's not unnatural anymore, or at least it's more natural. Um, and this one also plays stuff that tokens higher frequencies well, like violins and pianos and stuff. I really like it. Moving on to the treble. The treble is probably the biggest change. Well, I mean the bass is also a big change, but the treble. I don't think anyone can call this fatiguing anymore. There's less for sure. It's not as extended, but there's still enough treble there for you to hear, stuff in the upper frequencies. It's not like dark or anything compared to the EJ07, which looking back on it now, yeah, it's pretty dark. So, yeah, I really think the tuning of the Prometheus is more suited for people who want a planar and more balanced sound, and for people who like the V-shaped sound signature, they would like the stock S12 more. So moving on to technicalities, it's pretty much the same for both of them. Like the tuning might have, changed tiny bits, but that's like the tuning changes. It's to be expected, but the technicalities didn't change enough or like didn't have enough of a difference for me to, separate this enough. So for resolution, I'd say for the under $200 price range, the resolution of this is pretty good. Uh, I think this is where the cheaper planars on the market shine. It's in resolution at, you know, years ago at this price point, you would not have this kind of resolution. It's pretty good. I'd say anybody with an S12 or like any other planar with this kind of resolution would be very happy. Um, the details, it's very detailed for the price, I'd say. Planars, or at least the planars that I've heard, have a kind of ability to draw out the nuances of music pretty well. I don't know if it's just like just my brain being like, oh, planars do this, so I hear it. But I do find that this one is pretty detailed. Uh, the soundstage is just average head stage. It's in your head, not really extending to really outside of it at all. Um, Actually, it might be a smidge narrower than usual, but I found that in the case of the stock S12 at least, the staging was actually had a bit more height than usual. Depth is lacking for both though, and imaging, it's okay, it's good if everywhere except center image, which I find is lacking for pretty much every IM I've heard so far, which is unfortunate, but it's the norm for most IMs, so don't stress. Um, Let me see. So I got resolution, details, imaging, soundstage. Oh yeah, layering and separation is pretty good. It usually handles busy passages pretty well. Um, it didn't really like mess up or anything. I think that's also a good thing about planars. They're pretty good in that aspect. And yeah, technicalities on this are pretty good for the sub 200 price point. I don't have any complaints really. And um I guess that's about it, right? I compared the differences in tuning from the stock S12 to the S12 Prometheus, and the technicalities are pretty much the same, similar enough, right? So I guess that's where I'll leave it. Um, well, I guess no, I should preface this by saying that both versions of the S12 are good. Either the stock S12 it's a really good option if you want a V-shaped planar IM to try out. Um, and the S12 Prometheus is I wouldn't say it's an upgrade, but it's definitely a side grade for people who want a planar but with a more balanced tuning than even other stuff that may be on the market. I don't know. I haven't listened to a lot of planars. Just the S12 Prometheus, and the original Tin P one are the only planars that I've heard. So unfortunately, I have no other reference points. But from the planars that I've heard, I've liked all of them. The Tin P one, as I mentioned in my review, it's pretty good. It's probably way eclipsed by the newer planar hype nowadays, but I think it still holds up. Um, the stock S12 and the S12 Prometheus, they they are definitely benchmarks for this area of the market, and I can't wait to see how planar tech just evolves in the next few years, because who knows, with KZ and Canaro having like $50 or sub $100 planars, who knows, maybe there will be more balanced stock tunings from planars like the S12 Prometheus, uh so good job to Letshuoer for making the S12, and good job to Michael Bruce for tuning the S12 Prometheus the way he did. Um, I think he's a really good tuner, and he deserves to be known for that. Uh, oh wait, I forgot to disclaimer this, by the way. I'm sorry it took till the end of the video. I forgot, but I do talk to Michael Bruce on Discord, or I'm in his server. You know, we're not like friends, but we're on good terms. So that if you think that'll influence the review, that's up to you guys to decide. I'm not here to tell anybody anything, but my honest opinion. So yeah, uh, that's about it. Sorry for forgetting about that. I don't have a script. This is unscripted. So yeah, um, I think the next review would probably be one of the Moondrops, the Dusk, the S8, or the Chew. Either that or the TGX Ear Serratus, another earbud, or the Blur Wraith, which is an item that might not get such a good review. So if you're interested in any of those or anything else I might have for review, type in the comments or join my Discord server and heckle me there. And yeah, this is the final goodbye. See you guys later. Hope my next video won't come out too late. I'm so sorry about this. The gap between this and the announcement I made like 2 months ago. I'm sorry. Life just got in the way. Anyways, see you guys later. Be good people.